under the stars.
Let's get some bass! Well, good morning, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Tyler's Reel Fishing. Today, we're gonna catch some bass. That's the plan. Now, a lot of my buddies out here on this lake lately, this lake out here in central East Texas, have been catching 10-pounders. I'm talking, one of my buddies caught a 10-6, another one was like a 10-1, and then the next day, the same guy that got the 10-6 caught like the 9-7, and then a 6-pounder. So I'm telling you guys, there are big fish to be had right now out here. I'm excited. It's gonna be fun. Now today's probably gonna be a multi-purpose type day where I do several different things. So I think I'm gonna do some topwater stuff, maybe a tip video on whatever I'm catching the fish on. And then I have to film a Lucky Tackle Box instructional as well. It is beautiful. I don't know how much you guys can see with the sun right now, but it is gorgeous outside. Oh man, I love the springtime in Austin. No, not Austin, East Texas. I love the springtime in Texas. Throw on that life jacket, cause not today, Satan. Let's get going. Let's catch some bass. Getting out the plopper, folks. Good old post spawn bait. Of course, first cast you don't want to catch one. That's just horrible luck. If you didn't know that. Catch one on the first cast is either great luck or really, really bad luck. And I choose to think that it's really bad. So one thing that I noticed at the ramp this morning is that there was a plethora of bay boats and john boats, which means the white bass are running right now. So here on this lake, I guess I'll say it Lake Somerville, it's a lake that all the YouTubers around here film on. The white bass run pretty good, and especially they school, that's a gar, they school kind of up here up shallow. And so there's tons of boats beating the bank right now. Now they're not going for largemouth, they're going for white bass, but my guess is they're catching some largemouth mixed in, so hopefully my areas aren't too pressured, at least the areas that I usually hit. I'm kind of starting on a very, very obvious community hole little cut here. And then after that, we'll move on to some different stuff. Well, once I find some areas with fish, I'll throw the plopper around and spend a little more time dissecting. But for now, I'm gonna go with the buzz bait, so I can cover water a little bit faster with the buzz bait. Oh, I had a fish of some kind take a nibble. That's not gonna work. Let's get out of here. So I pulled up to this point here and I saw a whole bunch of birds, which means there's probably shad around here somewhere, and the birds actually moved over there. So my guess there's shad kind of along every bank in this whole lake right now. As a matter of fact, yeah, I'm seeing birds literally everywhere. So we're gonna try a little moving bait action here, a little square bill crankbait, see if it can produce any bites. These banks have no access to deep water, so we're gonna move. Well, we are trying all sorts of things here. This lake is generally a shallow lake, which what I mean by that is that people catch fish shallow. I've only heard of one tournament ever being won out deep, so we're gonna stay shallow. It's just been a long time since I've been out here, and all my buddies have been catching them on top water, and this is definitely not a top water time of the day right now. Bluebird skies, 10 in the morning, so I'm gonna keep throwing around the square bill, the spinner bait, maybe try throwing a Texas rig around. I want to find some fish in an area before I waste a bunch of time dragging a bait around. I may have to, but we will see. I could just go catch white bass, it's a possibility. I'm on a bank right now though that Justin Rackley, or Lake Fork guy, and I caught some fish on about 2 years ago. If you haven't seen that video, click up here in the corner. You can see it, but little break line allows these fish to access deep water and then come up and feed. There's a fish, finally. Gosh, that was a bad hook set. Not a bad fish though. I don't think so. Nope, not a small one, but also not giant. Where's he going? Where's he going? All right, well, dragging the Texas rig for 5 minutes and I get a bite like this. So we may be dragging the Texas rig a little bit more. That bite was in about 6 feet of water. Bring it in. Yes. Actually, not a big fish at all, but we will take him on Of course, my GoPro dies the minute I start talking about the fish. Got the fish on a little Strike King game hog, like a brush hog imitation, creature bait. Just dragging it like those fish are spawning. And maybe that fish was on a bed, maybe not. But we're gonna drag for a little bit longer. Try to figure these fish out. 'Cause that was a small clue, but I need a big clue. You know what I mean? I need a big clue. A lunker 10-pound clue would be great. I just gotta get my hook set better. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. I'm not twisting my body or something. My hook sets are not great. And that's the one thing about being in college that's hard for me, is that I can't fish all the time. And so my techniques are not always the best when I go out in the water, especially on a boat. You know, I can go in a pond and catch plenty of dang fish doing whatever, but when you're on, oh my goodness. There's one. Not a bad little guy. Whew, that hook set was a little bit better. Still not great though. Ugh. All right, we're gonna keep dragging. That's what these fish want. These fish are angry. Angry fish, yes. Got him. Got him. Ah, look at that. Little guy. Little male. Got one. And I know we've been catching them so far without this, but little chartreuse dip in the spawn never hurt nobody. Little chartreuse. Little JJ's magic, as the fluke master says. I just caught one. It wasn't recording, so that's good. If I catch one more dink up shallow, I'm gonna kind of back off to the break where it drops off from the 3 to 4 feet up here to the 7 to 8 down there, and we'll see if that makes any difference in the size. Seems like every time that I've gotten my phone out to text somebody, I get a bite. So we're gonna keep that streak going. Cool. Are you kidding me? I had a bite. I had a bite with my phone out. All right, phone's coming back. Kind of a funny thing going on right now. So I camped at the shoreline here, and all of a sudden fish are starting to pop all around me. And I think it's because I have my Hydrowave on. Hydrowave is a cool device that I have, and it plays noises out of my trolling motor that sound like, look at these fish literally busting all around me. It plays noises that sound like bait fish, crawfish, all that kind of stuff. And it literally plays the noises into the water and attracts fish to your boat and kind of turns fish on if they're not biting. And it doesn't always work. It doesn't work in every single scenario, as in right now, because I'm not going for white bass. If I was, it'd be great, because there's white bass popping all around me on the shad here that were not happening when I had the Hydrowave off. So pretty cool little plug there. I have had times where the Hydrowave has helped with largemouth bass, but it helps with practically all species. Got him. Well, first cast up here to that area, 1 pounder. Never ends. It never ends, folks. Chill out, bud. Chill out. Gee. Slightly thicker fish, though. Let's keep doing this. So the combo that I'm using today for my Texas rig is definitely my tournament combo. Now I have several pond combos that I use for Texas rigs when I'm at the pond, but right now I'm fishing my Lew's Team Hypermag. It is an incredible reel. One of the nicest ones they make. And then of course one of my favorite rods, the Lew's Custom Speed Stick in the Magnum Hammer, which is a 7.3 medium heavy. Just practically a good all around, Texas rig jig rod, I would say. You can get away with a 7 foot, but I'd say a 7.3 is my favorite for this type of technique. Dragging and flipping. All this stuff will be linked in the description as always. Now, if you guys are new to YouTube or new to the channel, I always put all the deals you guys can get, whether it's, discounts off Lucky Tackle Box, all the gear that I use, the AFCO clothes that I wear. AFCO clothes have saved me a lot of sunburns from the what do you call it, UV clothing or SPF protective clothing. The hats are all awesome. Everything is always in the description below for you guys to take advantage of, because I don't want to use the best stuff in the industry and just keep it to myself. I want to share it with you guys as well. Well, we have found a brush pile, so it's time that we set up the second camera angle here for the Lucky Tackle Box instructional. If you guys haven't subscribed to Lucky Tackle Box's YouTube channel, what are you doing? Go over there and do that. That's where I teach a lot of fishing techniques, is over there on the LTB channel. I've got a cool little system my dad designed. here on the boat. You guys always ask, Tyler, what is your filming setup on the boat? And I never really get to show you guys. And I'll probably do a video of it when I kind of review my boat and do a little boat tour. Basically, it's a, I don't know, 1/4-inch screw mount there to some sort of Manfrotto device or something down there. Then I take my camera, monopod, I stick it there and I screw it in, make sure it's nice and tight, and I tighten this side as well. Sorry if you guys can't see this. I'm not at the best angle here. Boom, and then, as you guys can see, the camera's at a nice angle facing me while I talk about the lures and stuff. So I've now resorted to idling around out here, looking for fish on the electronics. Now what I'm really looking for is brush piles. So I want to find some offshore or just slightly offshore, like off the bank, piles these fish may have pulled off onto. I can stay up shallow and catch 1 and 1.5 pounders all day, but that's not exactly what I'm out here for. I'm out here to catch big bass and of course film that instructional video that is a football jig. So I've got to find some areas that I can catch fish a little bit deeper as well. Even though it's probably more exciting for you guys if I just catch fish all day, I want to catch big fish. That's the goal for me. Whiteback, gar, are you kidding me? I'm in a gar school right now. I hate gar. 3 dang gar just pulled up in here. Usually where the gar are, the bass are not. So, I'm not gonna stay here for too much longer. Now that I've seen that. Got him. Got one on the football jig. Bring it in, bring it in. That was an awesome bite. I pulled it over a rock and he nailed it. Is it a big one? Oh, not a big one. But look at that. Got one on the black and blue finesse football jig. Super, super cool. Nice windy bank. Perfect situation for this football jig. And like I said, I pulled it just over a piece of cover and that fish just slammed it and almost took the rod out of my hands. Awesome. Time to head in, folks. Day's done. Whew. It was starting to get hot out here. Now, it's not why I'm heading in. I gotta head in and start studying for some finals. But I kind of wanted to give you guys a little nugget of information, as I always do, to kind of end off my videos and teach you something. You know, I think today we're faced with post-frontal conditions, which means even if it's a tiny, tiny cold front, a front did still blow through. The pressure change is high pressure now. The clouds are finally starting to roll back in. And so I think these fish just kind of got finicky. I believe the last wave of the spawn was this weekend, and I might have missed the big fish push-up because all my buddies were catching 8-10 pounders, like I mentioned at the beginning, up shallow a few days ago, but I think that's because the big fish tend to spawn before the full moon, and last night was the full moon, and so I'm rambling right now. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. It is a pleasure for me to take you guys along with the journey. Whether or not I catch a whole bunch of big fish, I could have went up shallow, as you guys know, and caught 20 more dinks today on the Game Hog. But of course, everything that I used today, from the clothing to TH Marine supplies to rods and reels, all is linked down in the description. And we'll see you guys in the next episode of Tyler's Reel Fishing. Hoppa!